welcome to Mississippi in the Arts Week. We have a great program for you this hour. The Mississippi Afrocentrik Dance and Drum Ensemble. And they are a union of Afrocentric-minded people based in Jackson. The group emphasizes developing a sense of African and African-American culture, primarily through two of Africa's most profound gifts to humanity, its music and dance. With the lure of dance and drums, deeper aspects of African and African-American culture are observed and adds to the personal development of the class and group members. The group has been performing together, conducting seminars and teaching free weekly classes for 2 years, and founding members trace their roots within African dance and drumming back to their teenage years. Lead drummer Sherman Nunn Abdur-Razak, lead dancer Chiquila Pearson, and elder drummer Baba Olatunji are all from Chicago. But in a twist of fate, each moved to Mississippi, where they met and agreed that their talents and knowledge were needed by the community. The main focus of the group is to be available for the youth of Mississippi and beyond. The group recognizes the value of youth development, and members agree that the youth are the most important natural resource of any unified body of people. Without them, there simply is no future to look forward to. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the program over to Sherman and Chiquila. Please help me welcome the Mississippi African Dance and Drum Ensemble.
Morning. When I say who jumbo, you say see jumbo. Who jumbo? Like you mean it. Who jumbo? All right, in Swahili, I'm asking you, are you fine? Are you fine? Oh, I see some young ladies back there. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I saw that. Well, good morning to you. So I'm asking, are you fine? You say see jumbo. Yes, I am fine. We are members of the Mississippi Afrocentrik Dance and Drum Ensemble. We would like to thank you all for having us here this morning. We're going to have a very cultural outing. We're going to talk about African dance, African drumming. Of course, we're going to perform. I see a few people who look like they probably can dance. How many dancers out there? Yeah, I know it's more than dancers. We'll probably end up having some people to come up and do a demonstration. And we're going to have a questions and answers session at the very, very end. So I see a lot of questions already, like, Brother Sherman, what is that on your head? I know. We're going to talk all about that. But we have some of our members today. The whole group is rather large. We just did a big stint last month at Thalia Mara, where all 25 of us were on stage with a tribute to M.A.D.D.E, the civil rights icon here in Mississippi. Of course, during the week it's a little difficult, so we have the economy-sized version of our group, which is a little bit more cordial. You get a chance to see a lot of the movements a lot better and then form those questions. What we'd like to do at this time is start off with Tambiko. Everybody say Tambiko. Tambiko. All right, I like those fake accents. That's nice. But Tambiko is libations to the ancestors. It has been erroneously reported over many, many years now that the Africans actually worship their ancestors. Not the case. Ancestors are looked at as a very important part of African culture. Why? Because these are the individuals who laid the way. They paved the way, laid the stonework for the roads that we now travel. So at the beginning of just about every African or Afrocentric ceremony, you are going to witness Tambiko, which is the pouring of libations. Now, how many hip-hoppers do we have out there? I come from that generation, I ain't that old. I know there are more hip-hoppers than that, so you know what it means to pour a little bit out for your dead homies and all of that. All that is just carrying on African tradition. In African tradition, Tambiko or libations is pouring a little bit of water or even millet beer or some liquid out onto the earth, offering some up to the spirit or the memory, the energy that is left behind by our ancestors who have gone on and rejoined the larger pantheon of ancestors. So at this time, we'd like to go ahead and do that. to the earth in their memory to symbolize further growth, to symbolize progression, a carrying on of the traditions that they left behind for us. I'd like to pour libations to all of our ancestors who have struggled here in the state of Mississippi in the name of freedom, in the name of justice, not just so that African Americans may prosper, but so that all men may come together with a unified mind and a unified purpose and see each other as equals. In their memory, we pour water to the earth and we say Ashe, meaning so may it be. Ashe. To our many grandparents who paved the way for us before we were even born, as they were the parents of our parents. Some of us still have them, some of us do not. But to those who have passed on, especially the grandparents who have given us so many memories, we say Ashe. As mentioned earlier, the Mississippi Afrocentrik Dance and Drum Ensemble performed to pay respects to one of Mississippi's greatest and most bold native sons. And we pour libations to his memory as he was striving to serve the community. This was M.A.D.D.E efforts. To his memory, we say Ashe. To those in our community who may be lesser known, who may not have had the blessing of a television camera, who may not have had the blessing of a radio microphone, but still made strides to make way for a better tomorrow for all of us in this state and beyond. If they have passed on to the ancestors, at this time we pour water to the earth in their memory, and we say Ashe. If there is someone in your mind whose memory you would like to reflect on at this time, be it a family member, be it a teacher, or anyone who has inspired you throughout your life, if they have returned to the ancestors, I ask that you will concentrate on their memory briefly at this time as we pour water to the earth in their memory. And collectively we say, so may it be. We all say, Ashe, Ashe. Kujumbo! There we go. We're ready to go forward now. I want to introduce you to some of the members of M.A.D.D.E. Start over to the side. One of our junior lead drummers, also the son of our lead dancer. This is Brother Lothario Cross. Also a junior lead drummer, band member over at Forest Hill High School. Oh, somebody from Forest Hill is out there. This is Brother Felix Perez. You all don't want to know who these dancers are, do you? No. We'll save you for last. This one here, this is my son. He's bringing the bass up into places, even with the African bass drums, the junjuns. This is Brother Abdul Khalid. Truly a young leader within the M.A.D.D.E. organization. Started dancing as a young lady, and I've seen her blossom into quite a woman. Very proud of her. This is one of our assistant lead dancers. This is Candace Pearson. They say behind every good man is a good woman. No, she's not my wife. This is like my sister to my heart. My homegirl from Chicago, Illinois. Have to pause for a minute and just tell you a little bit about M.A.D.D.E. The leadership is all from Chicago. We came down here for separate reasons at separate times, but the force of the Creator, it's the only thing I can see, just brought us together. We all wanted to do the exact same thing, and M.A.D.D.E. is the result, and this is my partner. We just work so well together and just bring everything out. This is our lead dancer, Sister Shaquila Pearson. We're going to pause right now and tell you a little bit more about the roots of African dance and African drumming. And I know a few hands are going to go up right now with this question. How many people present are familiar with, are a part of, or have ever been a part of a praise dance team? Go ahead, get them high, get them high. I'm not going to have you come up yet. We got a whole little block right here. We're going to have you all come up here. The reason I asked that question is because it all starts with what you just saw. African dance is the original praise dancing. And what I mean by that, I'm talking in terms of purpose. The sole purpose for African dance and drumming, because there's not one without the other. It's like smoke and fire. One is a result of the other. But the whole purpose, the sole purpose, is praise of the Creator. No matter what he may be called in Africa, in the Yoruba faith, he may be called one thing. Amongst the Senegalese, he might be called Allah. Other indigenous religions may all pay homage and respect to that same Creator. But one thing that remains a constant is that the dancing and drumming is most often done for the purpose of praise. The very first rhythm that you heard us play before the dancers came out was called Lamban. Lamban is a barred rhythm, and it's done for particular instances of praise as well, but I wanted to mention the bars because it's also been reported that Africans have a unique history of memorized history or oral traditions, which is true. The bars hold a very, very important part in African culture. Those are the preservers, the historians. They pass down traditions by word of mouth. And so that rhythm, Lamban, would be played at the time that they would come forth before the village with whatever it is they wish to convey or wish to share at that time. Lamban is also done at the time of weddings, funerals, births. So now we get to see a clear picture of just how much African dance and drumming plays within the culture. Literally from the time you are born to the time that you return to the ancestors, there's African dance and drumming. The very first dance that you saw was called Fanga. Fanga is a very unique dance, And it's dear to many African Americans as well as Africans. Why? Because it comes from Liberia. For those who are familiar with the history of Liberia, Liberia was actually a settlement in West Africa that was put on the continent by slaves who were able to return from North America to the African continent. Liberia has been in the news a lot lately too because they just elected the very first female president in Africa. Go ahead, ladies, you can clap. That's fine. I'll show you. So progress is still in motion. The second dance that we did was called KouKou. Not like the bird. No, not like that. KouKou is a unique dance also. And this goes back into the culture again. There are several rites of passage ceremonies that take place all throughout the African's life. So in this particular instance, when young boys return from the manhood initiations in the bush after they've been circumcised, yeah, that happens. After they come back, the parents are often the ones who will get out and dance KouKou, the second one that we did. But more so often in modern times, KouKou is done in respect of the harvest. See, we have to overstand, and I say overstand in contrast to understanding. Think about the play on words. I'm going to stray for a minute. Words are very powerful. Words contain inyama. I'm going to tell you about that too. But if you truly have a grasp of a concept, you're not standing under it, you're standing over it. So that's why Brother Sherman says overstand. I want you to overstand that nature plays a very, very important role in African culture as well. So in respects to KouKou, when that dance is done in respect to the harvest, it's done to praise the Creator for giving a good harvest. And you notice some of the dance moves, exactly. Sister Shaquila is illustrating for you. You saw some of the movements where you're praising upward, and also you're gathering up the harvest. You're going downwards with it. And then there are just so many movements, just open-looking movements, symbolizing the openness, the community. Community plays a very big role as well. But before we go any further with that as well, I want to tell you about Inyama. So Brother Sherman, you mentioned Inyama. What is that? In West Africa, it's taught that there is a universal cosmic energy that is everywhere, all at once. Totally omnipotent, transcending all the universe. This energy is taught to have originated with the creator of all that is. And so now we have a clearer understanding of why Africans and people involved in Afrocentric culture wear things like shells, like leather, have instruments made of wood and skin. See, African culture has been misrepresented several years, if not centuries. It's been said that Africans are primitive, are backwards, jungle dwellers, because they wear skins and wear wood, shells, bones, all that good stuff. I think too many people have watched too many Tarzan movies personally. But we're going to break that down for you right now. See, it's not so much as the fact of wearing the skins and playing with the skins and having wood, shells, all that, but it's the inyama, or the energy that is contained in these raw materials. Ah, I see some light bulbs going up. You see how this relates to the very natural, very holistic culture that is prevalent all throughout Africa. Rather than place a lot of emphasis on man-made materials, they simply look towards nature. And so when you see the African with the metal and the bones and the beads, wood, shells, leather, it's the energy, or the inyama, that is contained in these things. As a matter of fact, I can illustrate it even further for you with my drum. In West Africa, a djembefola, a person who plays the djembe drum, such as this is a djembe, will go into the woods and cut down an ample, strong tree made of good, heavy wood. This would be the result of that tree being cut down. They would take the tree and shape it into an an hourglass, semi-hourglass shape and hollow it out. And this wood, of course, has energy, or inyama in it, because it comes from what? A living thing. It comes from nature, a tree. Phase 2 would call for an antelope skin, or more commonly, a goat skin, such as this, to be spread out over this drum. And then this is the reason that it's said that this is such a spiritual instrument as well, because that comes from a living thing, a goat or an antelope. It has that inyama, that energy from nature. Also, this force that I'm speaking of is so strong that whomever makes the drum, it's said that his inyama is contained in that instrument because of the sweat involved, sometimes the blood, hands get raw, tools may cut you, or what have you. But the end result is this. You have all the inyama in the wood, all the inyama in the skin. You have the inyama encompassing this object from the maker, and all of that combines with the drummer who wears the drum, plays the drum. And that ultimately creates a very, very strong form of inyama, or that natural energy. And what do you think that is? I give you a hint. Starts with an M, ends with a C. One more time. Ashe, music, which is the universal language. Music is communication. You see, all these things are connected. You're like, Brother Sherman, where are you taking me? I like what you're saying, but I don't know where you're going. You're going to see. Now that we're talking about music, we can start talking about communication. Understand that when the dancers are dancing and the drummers are playing, it's not just simply noise for the sake of noise. It's not simply just moving for the sake of moving. It's praise of that creator, but it's also communication. In a djembe ensemble, you'll have a lead drummer, which in this case is me. My fellow group members have blessed me with that title. As the rest of the drummers are putting down polyrhythms, or a polyrhythmic rhythm, meaning one rhythm with several different parts that makes one large rhythm. The lead drummer's job will be to accent what the dancers are doing. We'll give you a brief example. Very important part of African dance and drumming for the dancers and the drummers to communicate with each other. In fact, many places in Africa judge a drummer by his ability to simultaneously interpret what a dancer is doing. Meaning that if you have a very, very skilled dancer that calls out a drummer, if he's unable to follow her movements and interpret what she's doing on that drum, reputation might be at stake. That's not a good thing. But for every instance, there's a rhythm and a corresponding dance that will go with it. One dance in particular that comes to mind is Kakilambe. Kakilambe is a spiritual energy. And I'm telling you this to further emphasize the relation of all of these things working together in a circle: the spirituality, the music, and the dance. The legend behind Kakilambe illustrates how spirituality comes into play. Once a year, an initiated dancer from the village will begin to dance and await the spiritual energy. I don't want to say spirit because that spooks some folks out, but I want to say energy, and energy to come from the bush in the form of the Kakilambe. Kakilambe conveys information to the initiated dancer, and as she becomes more and more entranced, she receives these messages. The Kakilambe is a positive energy, a positive spiritual force that gives that dancer energy, gives the dancer information to take back to the village. And it's usually for the benefit of the whole village for the rest of that year. That information could encompass crop information, whom is going to be a trouble to the rest of the village, who needs to be watched, how many births there might be. Just a lot of positive things that he or she will take back. I'm going to let Sister Shakila talk to you a little bit about African dance right now. Of course, just to give you a little bit of her background, I mentioned she's my homegirl from Chicago, Illinois. Any Chicagoans out there? Oh, okay. Well, one hand went up. I still love the rest of you, don't get me wrong.